101. Case location prior to rendezvous.
Position.
Standing in front of the cafe.
Copy.
Starting for anniversary. Hostile.
Identity?
Italian man 12.
Italian man 12. After your first rendezvous, he said you had a, quote, lack of passion. And cut off all communication.
Being easy shouldn't equal passion. Continuing with interior sweep. Damn! Hostile 11 and 1.
What? Who?
I don't recall his call sign, but he's at the door.
Copy that. He's not hostile. One lonely, handsome man. Ooh, I'd like to be his handler.
Focus. Exit strategy.
Not yet. All right, on my mark. Tie your shoe.
Heels?
Drop your purse.
Lame.
Just do something.
Mark!
Carolyn!
Jeff!
Mark!
Oh, date night.
Mark!
Large vanilla latte.
Mark!
Does 12 mean his IQ?
Something like that.
Hi, thank you for coming to StarNet Studios. I am Andre Tucker. I hope you are having a great day. Today, I have Miss Carrie Certa with me. She is an actress, producer, director, and writer. She's been very busy. She's worked on a lot of Nickelodeon specials, which we will talk about here. And in the past, she's worked on things like America's Next Top Model and Bridezillas and plenty of other programming like that, and E True Hollywood Story. So I just want to welcome Miss Carrie Certa. Certa, excuse me. How are you doing? How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah.
Right.
It's early in the morning, but I've got my coffee. I'm good.
Excellent. Yeah, I love a good cup of coffee myself. I probably could have used it there before that little Certa flub there, but things happen. So let's talk a little bit about, we'll jump right into it, the Nick News. So tell me, how did you get started with your Nickelodeon work and doing the news and working on pieces? Because one thing that kind of jumped out at me where you worked on was the Kids Race and Unity special, and right now very significant to work on a piece like that and put information out in a way that children can understand, and as well as your Kids Pick the President special that you did with Keke Palmer. And so just tell us a little bit about how that got started there.
It's really funny too, because I had, that was done during COVID. And I had literally just lost my previous job, and I was unemployed for 2 days when somebody that I had worked closely with at the Producers Guild, I'm a board member of the Producers Guild as well, called me out of the blue, never worked with her. And she said, what are you working on? And I said, my beauty sleep. What do you need? And she said, we're putting together a Black Lives Matter special. Do you want to produce it? And I was instantly, it was a yes. I think everybody has gone through that dark phase through COVID, and that was definitely one for me. Not only did I just lose my job, but there was nothing I could physically do to help the Black Lives Matter movement, because I didn't want to get COVID, and I've seen what happened to I just lost a friend to COVID. I wasn't going to put myself out there to that. So to have this kind of fall in my lap, and so I could do my part, was a blessing. And from there, they offered me 2 other series, and I've been there for over a year now, and I'm now booked out for this year for Nickelodeon. So it's a really, really great working relationship. And Nick News is such a passionate thing for me, only because we make a point to make sure we only tell the truth, the facts, and educate kids and educate parents on how to talk to their kids about these sensitive matters. And that's why I think what's so great about Nick News, which is basically a relaunch of a division part of Nickelodeon. They had Nick News in the 90s, and now it kind of went away. It's coming back full force. And I think it's really important this time that Nick News come around, because there's so many things coming at them, scary things coming at kids, and now we can just like, here's the facts from the fiction, you know, and talk to your parents and others about this. So there's a clear message of what is actually going on in the world and understanding what's going on in the world. So.
Right now, tell me this, because you, as you mentioned, you worked on this during the pandemic while COVID-19 was still out there, and you had to coordinate lots of different people. I mean, you had different kids in different windows and things like that, and you also had, you know, talents like Alicia Keys as well as Kiki Palmer hosting these events. What are some of the benefits or even the challenges of coordinating all these different resources in one place while they can't even really be in the same room together?
Right. That was when I was first given the job and told that it was virtual. Of course, I'm just like, how are we doing this? What you know, is it drop off? Like, what's going on? And there was a lot of technology that boomed, you know, because it's Zoom. Let's do everything over Zoom. And the first special that they did was a COVID-19 special talking to kids about COVID-19. And they did it over Zoom. And clearly you can see the video isn't that great. Audio dropped out. So when I came in, it was, okay, let's look at other technologies and how we can do this, because there was no way, under no circumstances, were we going to put people, especially children, in the same room and have that chance of people getting sick. So, it's called OpenReel is the software that we ended up using, and it's basically all video on your phone. So OpenReel connects to an iPhone. You have to do it via iPhone, and because iPhones tape 4K, and you interview them, even if the internet drops out, you're still getting the video from the phone. So when it beams up to our post department, we get clean, nice picture and audio. And it was beautiful. And that's what we did with Alicia Keys and what we did with Kiki Palmer for Kids Pick the President. This has been a very interesting time because everybody wants to stay safe, but we still need to create content. You can't watch reruns of Friends, you know, for 2 years kind of thing. So it's been a really great learning experience. And I just love that, like Viacom, the parent company, Nickelodeon, and everything has been so conscientious on making sure people are safe. Now,
obviously, you are working on some very serious content here with, you know, like the elections and, you know, just public safety and things like that are covered in these specials. But going back to something in time a little bit lighter, I know I mentioned that you worked on Bridezillas. Tell me a little bit about what it's like what that was like.
That's an interesting story because it was it was actually a jump in my career. That specific show, I became a field producer. I was an associate producer, but I ended up taking a field producer job. I think it's very public that this first season of Bridezillas, the network was sued. So I worked on season 2, where all the brides had to, you know, basically sign a book, you know, knowing that they were saying that they knew they were on Bridezillas. A lot of the brides came to us. We're like, why do you want to be on the show? They're like, well, I want to show how you don't have to be a Bridezilla. I'm like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I was sold on the show being, you know, more of a documentary, you know, just follow and see what happens. And it didn't really turn out that way. I was actually fired from that job very proudly because I would not play tricks on the bride. And you can see the genesis of that show of how it is now that the brides are in on the jokes kind of thing. So it found its feet into not being reality. They play together now to get those moments. I think it's very, very obvious. But yes, I was fired from that job for integrity reasons. I wasn't going to do what I was asked to do, and so I walked away. So, and I think everybody has to decide for themselves in this world. And that was the last reality show I did because I just didn't like that game.
Right, I understand that. And then before all of that, you also did something on your own to get started with. Going back to your roots here, Spy for Love, that kind of jumped out at me. I would like to hear a little bit more about what that was like.
I wrote that making fun of my own dating life. I was on eHarmony. I was on all the dating sites were. I was on multiple ones at the same time, and you kept on running into the same people. And it was so funny because as soon as I told the guys where I lived, they always picked the same spot. It's like, what if I run into somebody I rejected or rejected me? Like, this is getting awkward. So I wrote that to make fun of my life, but I'm not a spy. I just added that dash in there. How would a spy date in this world? And I really wanted to direct. I was focusing my career at that time as directing, and I became unemployed. And I was like, well, I've got the time. I don't have the money. How do I do this? And I ended up spending one of my unemployment checks to make it happen. I had a great connection to a coffee house. I love my coffee. And he let me shoot there overnight. And we did. It was great. I really, really loved it. I learned a lot too. You're in this business as a producer, and I've been an actor as well, but directing is a different beast, and it was fabulous. And I was just so grateful that everyone came on board for almost nothing, and we got it out there and won awards too. People thought it was fun,
right.
So I like that.
Yeah, and you spend a lot of your time producing and directing, like you've mentioned, but then you've been in front of the camera as well. So, do you have any interest in going back in that direction, or are you just going to kind of focus on the producing and directing going forward?
No, acting is my passion. It was so funny because I started really putting my feet down back into the acting track right before the pandemic. And it's like, oh, okay, this is what's happening now. Nobody wants, and I've actually been acting during the pandemic. I've been in a feature film. I'm actually in something this weekend. That's really my passion. When I came out here in 2000, I got tired of being told how fat I was and how much weight I had to lose. It's like, I'm a curvy girl. I'm sorry, I'm from the Midwest. Chicagoans, we like to eat. Like, come on, guys. So I took a step back. I was very frustrated with the way that I was treated in audition rooms. And so that's what launched me to become a producer, because at 26, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I'm going to change the industry. I'm going to become a producer, and I'm going to tell these people how to treat actors. And then I found I was good at producing, and I've had a really great career as a producer. But I'm really grateful I took that route too, because it makes me a better actor, because I understand the pain everybody else is going through in their position. So when I get on set, it's like, how can I help you? I got my lines. I'll say what I need to when I step on my mark, but how can I help you? Because it is chaotic on set. So we all got to work together.
Right. So, and speaking of chaotic, I mean, just as everything you've done more recently has been virtual, have you gone back into in-person projects, or has it just, like I said, it's been focused on the virtual? Well,
the latest news show that we're doing is on the environment. Earth Day is coming up soon, so we did an Earth Day, a climate change show, and it was our first time back in studio. It was mind-blowing, because I have a feeling everyone's going to go back to work and have serious PTSD that they have to deal with, because everyone's got their masks on. You can't see facial expressions. And I'm somewhat of a smart ass, so I have to remember, oh, they can't see my mouth, I'm joking. Gotta be a little more sensitive to that. But then you're not used to being that close to people either. You still got to find this 6-foot distance, which is really hard to do on a set. So we had about half the crew that we needed to make it happen. And so everyone was doing 5, 6, 7 different jobs in order to make the show happen. It was very stressful on that side. And then just to rethink, like, I need everyone to be away so we can keep safe. Like, we still do the testing and mindfulness of, where we are. And we had to actually have stations for everybody, so we knew that they were, going to be in different rooms. But at times we all had to be blocking in that set, and some people you could tell were more sensitive to others. They'd be like, "Get away from me." So it was very bizarre, and the fact that it should have only taken 6 hours to do the entire day, we needed the 12 hours because we had less hands. We had to bring people out of the studio in order to bring people into the studio. We had to do this dance. So it really was a hindrance, but I'm glad that I did it because, you know, when we go back full force, we're going to have to keep all this in mind. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it certainly is. And when you're not doing things with Nickelodeon, you have your own operation. It's URSA Productions. Want to tell us how'd you come up with that name and what that means to you, and how's that going?
URSA, I actually came up with back in college. I actually have a theater degree, and one of the classes you have to take in order to graduate is theater management, and we had to build our own theater company. So, you know, when I was 22 years old, I came up with this brilliant idea of URSA Theater, and it was URSA Major was the main stage productions, and URSA Minor was the children's productions. The
constellations, right.
Right. So I just kept it when I came out here. Everybody has a production company. You know, it's like, oh, you have a production company? It's like, let's not get too fancy here. It's like, yes, I've produced things under URSA. I worked with Yulu Toys. It's a toy company out of Amsterdam. I produced a bunch of their YouTube videos, which was great. I've produced, I was on a feature film. I produced attachments. And so I've done a lot of indie stuff with URSA Productions, and right now I am in final development for a paranormal show that's going to be on Paraflix. So that kind of stuff, I love being executive producer. I'm not going to lie, it's great being the boss, but it's a lot of responsibility because it's my name, my money on the line. Right. You know, kind of thing. So that is a different level of production company. You know, I've been using URSA for 20 years now, and it was only into the last 5 years was I actually really using it as a proper production company. So I'm really proud of that. It's hard. It's a very, very hard and different way to think about the business of producing when it is your name and your money on the line.
I understand. Okay, so what tell us about the website. Like where will someone go to find out more about URSA Productions? URSAProductions.com is where I have everything. You know, I've got my acting reel on there. I've got my directing. There's a URSA Productions YouTube channel. During the pandemic, I had to do something to lighten the mood, so I started karaoke's, playing my name. And I did it just for my family and friends, just to keep them smiling during the pandemic. And then it turned into this thing. And people started making requests and like, oh, sing this now, sing this. So the one that really launched it was Kung Fu Fighter. And so you can make fun of my martial arts. I'll accept that, it's fun. But I've tried to just make people laugh through this stuff. You know, I've got a bunch of wigs I put on or costumes and just have fun with it. So you'll see that on there. What else is? You'll probably see more paranormal stuff on there when we launch with Paraflix and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm a little bit on the older side, so I'm still trying to get a handle of this YouTube, TikTok thing. So I know we got to infiltrate on all sides in order to get your name out there. So that's our next step is TikTok. And let me tell you, my little cousins have been training me on that, and I'm still like, okay. Sure. 1 minute. All right, done. So good. Okay, so that is URSAProductions.com. Okay, yep. Be sure everybody will take a look at that. And I want to say thank you for coming on. I very much appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing your projects, particularly the paranormal thing, to see what comes out of that. And we'll see you soon in the future. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate it.